aware for the last few weeks that I've been approaching a significant anniversary, and it was then this afternoon today that I was like, okay, yeah, it's been a year since I have not been drinking alcohol, so the reality of that landing feels so much softer than I might have imagined when I started out in this process. I think along the way, and it's a very personal journey, but a lot of media and pop culture projections about what that is like and how people communicate their progress and how they mark milestones. There's a kind of an energy attached to that I feel, yeah, I don't think that I'm necessarily connecting with. I don't feel like a sense of hype, and I don't feel, because I'm not part of a community, this is also making me realise that this might be partly why um there's not like pomp and circumstance or kind of ritual and ceremony attached to this in a way that's like demonstrative, or um I'm not like, I've got a chip or whatever, and it's not to mention that in a way to say that I don't recognize or place value on that. It's just a different journey, and it's just a different process and a different way of communicating achievement. Whereas what I'm feeling right now is like a sense of relief and a sense of peacefulness and a sense of just a breath out and a kind of a sigh of like, okay, something's complete. That feels like that is um yeah, only one part of a long process, I hope and I imagine and I intend to follow. Um but it just feels like a relief and a sense of, yes, this was the right decision for me at the right point in time, where it has allowed there to be a quality of momentum behind my continued recommitment to being like, okay, well, this is a choice that I'm making, because I know that it is an empowered choice, and it's the intention behind it relates to my desire to love myself, or to you know, embark on that journey in a way that has some sort of relationship to something tangible that I get an opportunity to check in with at every crossroads where there's a choice that's presented to me of like, am I going down a path that is um effectively like self-flagellation and self-harm, or am I going down a path that is supporting me, nourishing me, loving me, and contributing to my overall sense of well-being? And the process of allowing that to become a choice that feels easier to make is only one that can happen through repetition, and only one I feel that can also happen through there being a little bit of resistance or challenge there to be able to like test that commitment, you know, that it's not easy to um continue even when you know something is good for you or better for you than a previous choice you were making, when there are things in your environment that are contradicting that narrative. So it's also on the other side of this, having reached this timeline of safe harbor, maybe now I would feel more able to continue to stretch my capacity of exposure to certain environments that maybe have been easier to avoid or completely reduce contact time with. So for anyone that's invited me for a drink in the pub over the last year, or have like not heard from me in response to that, that's the reason why. And you know, a year is not a long time, and a lot can happen in a year. A lot has happened for me this year. I've made a lot of, as I've continued to make good choices for me that feel supportive to me in relation to where I'm at on my own process and healing pathway, I believe the reflection of that is amplified in other areas of life where I get the opportunity to actually put focused energy into a project, or whatever it happens to be that I'm expressing my energy through, and seeing like I have more energy available for that. I have more capacity. I've been in a process of stretching my capacity and inviting more life force energy into my space and my being. And in that respect, I can continue to reinforce positively for me, like, this is a good choice, this is healthy for me, this is supporting me. And those would be the qualities of and the reflections that I would want to highlight in terms of sharing this. Like, I don't have to share this. I'm choosing to share this because I recognize that when we are not given exposure to narratives that maybe allow us to explore parts of ourselves that maybe still don't feel comfortable to talk about with other people, or we live in a culture and a society that will perpetuate and normalize behaviors to the point of there being few spaces where we can actually come up for air and identify that perhaps we want to change something, or that we want to experience something different. Until you have had a kind of contact point or connection with some information that maybe resonates with you, that happens to correspond with an internal desire and a feeling that, okay, I am ready to embark on a trajectory that is different to what I have been exploring. I feel like it's a process of alignment. There needs to be, a combination of factors that come into play. And that sometimes it's just something as simple as an anecdote of hearing somebody express where they are on that trajectory. And I don't feel like I need to contextualize that or give, more information about how it's come about, or like the different spaces that I've entered into or explored as part of that process, because those are all then like personal details that become like talking points for someone that happens to then reach out and say, oh yeah, like, this is something I've been thinking about, or this is something that is a theme coming up, or I know somebody that's in a process right now that would benefit from a conversation. And I feel like those are it's the happenstance conversations that can create really poignant moments. And I'm speaking again about exploring something from the context of not entering into a formalized, structured process or into a kind of like a program or into anything that is maybe coming about through a lack of choice, because I do think it is a choice to change, to make a change to your habit, and to recognize that you want something different with relationship to this is I don't think I could ever paint a picture of this is how you do it, this is the approach, these are the little like phrases that'll keep you going. Like, that's not how my brain works, and it's not how my process has been, so I could never translate that verbatim and say like, yeah, this is the ultimate way. So that's why I feel an additional layer of responsibility in terms of how I choose to share something that's ultimately like a personal reflection from something that I've processed with and continue to journey through, of like, yeah, if there is something that is resonating with you based on how I'm describing this, or you feel like it is bringing up something within you for closer examination, then honor that and listen to that and explore that. And if you are in a position where you feel that you are struggling, take the time to resource yourself with the knowledge of what potential tools for support are available, because there are many from all different angles. But there is support available if you want it. And again, what I'm coming back to is, if you want it, if you recognize that you need it, if you're in the capacity to acknowledge, that is, I think, a kind of tipping point in terms of the knock-on effect that that creates, and that becomes the kind of impetus, it becomes the sustaining force that helps you to see things through to your, you know, your goal or your milestone, whatever it is. It becomes the kind of flavor with which you are examining other avenues of support, whether they come through like formalized, structured processes to discern whether or not this is right for me, if this resonates with who I am, what I've been through, where I'm going, to ensure that you are receiving the right kind of support if you choose to reach out to people in your network, or, you know, your family, or whatever your pathway is. If you have that capacity to allow that inner guidance system to start dialoguing with you again, and for you to be able to cultivate a quality of listening that actually allows you to start speaking to that in a loving way, in a non-judgmental way, that is my my 2 cents, and those are my words of encouragement to anyone who is on the periphery or in the early stages of exploring what it means to be flowing in a space where alcohol no longer feels like it's something that you want to have present in your life. And that's as much as I can share on that for now, or feels appropriate to share. And yeah, just that there is yeah, there's nothing more to say, but yeah, feeling pretty chill, feeling pretty chill about this place, and not feeling that I need to have a pat on the back from anyone other than myself, because I'm like, I know that I did this. No one else did it for me. I did it, and that feels really good. And I thought that was worth sharing as a wee achievement this past year.